Hello and welcome to Kolam Podu. If this is the first time you've come across our channel, here's a little something you need to know. Kolam Podu is a happy project. It aims at reviving and demystifying this wonderful South Indian traditional art form, which is more than floor art. This particular video is part of the series where we are demystifying the month Aadi. Our ancestors were obviously very wise. The whole intention of the series is to understand the whys and hows so that we can appreciate the practices that they put together for us. And let us also take into consideration that Tamil Nadu has so many communities, and every community and every family have their own sets of beliefs and faiths and the way they go about approaching the same festival. Like we keep discovering in Kolams, there is never just one way. Is there. For the farming community, Aadi is the month of sowing, rooting, planting the seeds and vegetation, because this is peak of monsoon. There is a famous Tamil saying, Aadi Azhaikkum, Thai Thudaikkum. Azhaikkum means invites and Thudaikkum means concludes. Starting with Aadi, the next 6 months is all about festivities till it concludes in Thai, which is mid of January. When the monsoon sets in, the water levels rise, which means we're going to be able to yield a healthier crop. In Tamil Nadu and Karnataka, the holy river of Kaveri, or shall we say the controversial river Kaveri, is the source of water both for irrigation and for overall consumption purposes. Aadi Perukku is a famous and a very important festival that is celebrated in this month. This festival is also referred to as Padinettam Perukku. Padinettu in Tamil means 18, and this particular festival falls on the 18th day of the month of Aadi. This is a festival of expressing gratitude for water's life-sustaining properties to Mother Earth and to Kaveri River. Practiced predominantly by women, all the water bodies are worshipped as female deities this month, whether it's the well, the pond, the lake, all of them. River banks are most fertile, and this particular practice is prevalent in the rice cultivating tract, celebrating the rise of water level as a form of welcoming the monsoon, thereby prosperity for the tribe agriculturally is what Aadi Perukku is all about. This is a celebration of fertility. Why don't we understand what is the meaning of fertility for an indigenous tribe? Well, before we get there, I will quickly remind you to subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon for regular updates. The word fertility means the natural capacity or capability to produce. In humans, it is offspring. In nature, it is the ability to sustain agricultural plant growth, thereby yield a high quality produce for overall well-being. The concept of celebrating fertility has everything to do with agricultural economy, because this is the main source of income for all indigenous tribes. Expressing gratitude is very important in our culture, whether it's seasonal practices like this or everyday practices like our kolam. Now, since we are expressing gratitude, here is mine towards all of you who've given us such wonderful feedback on our Aadi videos so far. Thank you so much for taking the time and leaving comments and giving us feedback. It really made a difference for us. In Hinduism, as per the Shaktiism sect, Adi Parashakti is considered the supreme being. Para in Sanskrit means supreme, absolute, and Shakti means power. She is who rules the world. Parashakti, Paramashakti, Mahashakti, Mahakali, Mahagauri. These are all just few of the other names she is referred to as. Adi Parashakti is believed to be the original creator, observer and destroyer of the universe. Goddess Parvati is believed to be Adi Shakti. Now Lakshmi and Saraswati are believed to be clones of Parvati. Varangalai Koduppaval Varalakshmi. Well, this is why we celebrate Varalakshmi Nombu. Varalakshmi Nombu is celebrated this month for the overall prosperity of the family, for progeny, to find the right partners. Like every other festival, this month is celebrated. In Tamil Nadu, the farming community believe that the manifestation of Shakti as Mother Earth is Pachayamman. Pachai means green and Amman means Shakti or even Mother. Now Pachayamman has another name, Kanni Amman. Kanni means unmarried, technically a virgin, but unmarried sounds more appropriate. Pachayamman is the goddess of fertility and marriage, and she was green in color. Now let us understand the psychology behind the color green. Green is the color of nature. It symbolizes growth, harmony, freshness and fertility. Green has a strong correspondence with feeling safe. Dark green is also commonly associated with money. There must be a story behind her name and why she has the color green, right? Let us explore. So, Shiva and Parvati were blessing the entire world from their abode, Mount Kailasham. One day, knowingly, Parvati with her bare hands closed his two eyes, which led to the entire world becoming dark. The Devas and the other celestial beings completely panicked and rushed to Kailasam. Lord Shiva opened his third eye and he dispelled darkness. Of course, Parvati prostrated and sought forgiveness, but Shiva told her she has to go down to the earth, pray and seek atonement. Well, one might ask, why did she do it? It was part of a divine plan. It was her way of showing grace to the human race. All the places where Goddess Parvati performed her tapas became auspicious holy spaces. For example, Kasi is where it is believed she spread the knowledge of Vedas and the Shastras. At Kanchi, it is believed that she did her penance under a mango tree. Tirumullaivayil and Mangadu host very special temples, and at Sengodu, it is believed that she did her tapas standing on top of a needle. At Tiruvannamalai in the Arunachala ashramam, in an ashramam called Pavalakundru today, is also where it's believed that she did her tapas. The belief is that she appeared as Pachayamman in Tiruvannamalai. The Pachayamman temple is located in the Arunachala hills, which is near the main town of Tiruvannamalai. The site of the current temple is believed to have originated during the Chola period, which is between the 8th and the 11th century. The temple, however, they say is between 120 and 130 years old. Earlier, this temple was referred to as Artha Mandapam, and now, after some expansion a few years ago, it's referred to as Mahamandapam. 6 hereditary Agamudayar families of Tiruvannamalai are believed to be in charge of this temple. The belief is their ancestors served Pachayamman temple for all these generations. The legend of Pachayamman is that when she completed her penance at Kanchi, she was ready to go to Arunachala hills. Now, on the way, she wanted protection, so she took along Sapta Rishigal or 7 rishis and Sapta Kannigal or 7 unmarried women or 7 virgins in this case. While this entire entourage was on move, they stopped at a village named Varekpandal. The local king fell in love with how beautiful Parvati was and tried to molest her. The Sapta Rishis, each of them became Munishwarargal or guardians and killed the king to protect Parvati. So at the Arunachala Pachayamman temple, you would actually spot 14 Munishwaras. Each Munishwara has 2 interpretations standing on either side leading towards Pachayamman. There are also statues of the Saptavahanas, or the 7 vehicles that they used to transport an elephant, a dog, and 5 horses. There is a tall statue of Ayyanar at the temple as well. Now, Ayyanar is considered the village deity that protects the village from all negative forces. In the Tamil culture, Ayya is used both to respect somebody and to refer to somebody with respect. The tank near this temple is also supposed to have medicinal properties. With regards to why she's got the name Pachayamman, there are 2 interpretations. Gautama Rishi, who was awaiting the goddess in his Pavarakundru ashramam, had prepared a parnasala using darbai. Now, darbai is a pale yellow dried grass. So, he had prepared a parnasala, or the holy seat, for the goddess. The belief is when she went and sat in the parnasala, the yellow grass turned luscious green. The other interpretation is, while she went to Varepandal, she sat and did her penance under the cover of luscious banana leaves. Pachayamman to the native Tamil Nadu farming community is Pachamama to the Inca tribes from Andes. Andes of South America is the agricultural terrace, and the Inca tribes resided there. The Incas, like us, were also polytheists who believed in many gods. The 2 Inca tribes are Aymara and Quechua, and both these tribes to date pray to Pachamama. Pacha in Quechua, which is the local language, means earth, space, cosmos, universe, and Mama means mother. Pachamama is also referred to as Mama Pacha or La Pachamama. The tribe prays to her as the ultimate feminine energy and the protector of the tribe, as well as the god of fertility, who is going to help them get a good crop. The Pachamama festival starts on the 1st of August and runs through the entire month. Now, each village hosts large gatherings every weekend, just like our Thiruvilas. All indigenous tribes have a form of libation as part of their culture. What is libation? Libation is a ritual or an offering by pouring a liquid or rice and grains as an offering to a deity. Libation for us in Tamil Nadu is following practices such as Tarpanam, Abhishegams, etc. For the Inca tribes, it is called Chalya. Now, an interesting parallel to draw. In Tamil Nadu, there is a very important festival called Mulaipari. Basically, they will take the 9 grains or Navadanyam and they will mix it all in a pot, they will sprout them, and women will go in large processions along with Ambal to the nearby water body and dissolve it there ultimately. Now, before they go, they will have dancing and singing, which is referred to as Kummi Paattu and Kummi dance, of course. This is a very important festival for the entire village. However, only women are allowed to go about this practice. Now, Chalya is the ceremony of gratitude for Pachamama. Chalya to the tribe means to feed by offering food and drink to Mother Earth. Now, what is very interesting is, like we celebrate Adi Sevai, they celebrate Martes de Chalya, which is also referred to as Chalya Tuesdays. Interesting, right? And it doesn't stop with Tuesdays, they also celebrate Fridays. So picture this: abundance of color, food, various beverages, lots of dancing, lots of singing. Doesn't a Tiruvizha come to our mind? Well, this is how Chalyas also are. Now, here's another interesting fact. Chalyas are normally celebrated twice a year. They celebrate them in August, like we're discussing, and they celebrate them in February, March. Very interesting timing, don't you think? When we are celebrating Adi, they are celebrating. When we go into Thai, which is a harvest, they are again celebrating. Interesting. So in August, they believe that the earth has to be protected or fortified. And in February, March, they believe that Pachamama opens up and accepts all the offering that the devotees have given her. This is so similar to our culture, which is mind-blowing for me. So we just discussed a Western parallel. Why don't we discuss an Eastern one, a beautiful folk tale from Indonesia. Here is a very beautiful story about goddess Devi Sri, also referred to as Sri Devi, who is the goddess of fertility and rice in Indonesia. So back in the days, rice was not allowed to be grown on earth. It was the food of the gods. The humans were only allowed to consume what is referred to as cassava. So gods used to always come down to the earth, and back in those times, the belief is that humans were also allowed to go to heaven. How would they go? By walking on the clouds. So one day, a young man wanted to go to heaven and visit the gods. When he went, it was meal time, and the aroma of rice completely enticed him. So he went to Devi Sri and asked her, "What is this?" And she told him, "This is rice, and this is food only for the gods, which is cultivated only in heaven." So this young man asked her, "Could you teach me how to do this?" So she said, "Well, I can, but you can farm this only in the heaven." And the young man agreed. So she taught him all the processes, and a few years went by. He got homesick. He wanted to visit his family. So he decided to come down to the earth to visit his family and went to Devi Sri and requested her permission. Of course, because he was so committed to whatever he was doing in the heaven, Devi Sri gave him permission to go visit his family. Now this man was very smart. He had been tasting rice and he wasn't selfish. He wanted his entire community to enjoy the taste of this rice. So before the gods could wake up, he quickly took a couple of rice plants and went down to the earth and started planting them. Now we know that one day of the Devas is 1 year for humankind. Same rules apply there as well. So when the Devas came down the following day, by which time it's been a year, everybody was eating rice. They were very upset and they went and complained to Devi Sri. Now Devi Sri was obviously very angry with the young man because she knew he was the only person who could have done this. She obviously summoned him. The young man, with all respect for the goddess, went and kneeled in front of her and accepted that he is the one who brought the rice plants to the earth. When she asked him why did he do that, he said, "Well, I wanted my entire community to enjoy this lovely rice which they don't otherwise have access to." Now obviously she felt a little let down because she has taught him the entire art of cultivating rice, but she was also happy that he didn't do it only for his own selfish interests but for the benefit of the entire community. "I forgive you," she said, "but you should always ask for permission first and not take things for granted, especially stealing is just not acceptable. As a punishment for this, no human being will be able to come to heaven anymore." However, she continued, "While you will be allowed to cultivate this rice, you need to take notice that this rice plant is like my child. Take very good care of it, just as I've taught you." Devi Sri gave clear instructions like irrigate the rice field regularly, weed the wild plants around the rice plants, fertilize the soil, harvest carefully with the right tools so that you do not waste any grains or damage them. Wastage is unacceptable. Let the birds also enjoy a bit of the delicious rice. Offer it to them as well. However, she warned, "If you don't pay attention to my orders, I will send natural calamities and destroy all your hard work." Now, before Devi Sri flew back to heaven, she spoke once more. In order to make the rice plants grow best, follow nature's rules. Plant the rice at the right time. I will give you a sign from heaven by dropping jasmine flowers from my hair bun. These flowers will become Valuku stars. This is the sign that the season for planting has come. Valuku stars are nothing but the Orion constellation. Now, the Orion stars that are indicative of time to sow also falls in August. Absolutely wonderful story, don't you think? Well, clearly, none of these practices being similar are a coincidence. Appearance of Venus early morning during the month of Adi is the indicator for farmers in Tamil Nadu. Now, this time is actually referred to as Vidi Velli. Vidi means very early morning, and Velli in this case means the planet Venus. Brahma Muhurtam is celebrated most because it is a time when ozone releases the best quality of oxygen. Now, Vidi Velli is a time the best quality of oxygen is released for the soil for your plants to be most fertile. The month of Adi is so beautiful. In our next episode, we are going to be discussing the beautiful and endearing Gokulashtami. If you found this episode interesting and engaging, of course, and useful, it would be wonderful if you can press the like button and leave us a comment, because feedback is always helpful and encouraging. Please go ahead and share this content with whoever you think will find this interesting and useful. We are available across various social media platforms, and here are the details. However, I am most active on Instagram and YouTube. So if you want to reach out to me, you can either leave me a message on the comment section of the YouTube channel or send me a direct message on Instagram. I'm always just one message away. Let me quickly urge you and remind you, if you haven't done already, to subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon for regular updates. Life is beautiful if we choose for it to be. So until the next time, Kolam Podu.